Hello, everybody. I'm Harriet Nelson, and I'd like to talk to you as one parent to another. I hope your children are brushing their teeth with the same toothpaste that our boys use. Listerine Antizyme toothpaste. Ask your dentist about it.
Listerine, the most widely used antiseptic in the world, and Antizyme, the first all-day anti-enzyme toothpaste, presents The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, starring the entire Nelson family. Here is Ozzie, who plays the part of Ozzie Nelson, and, of course, his lovely wife, Harriet, as Harriet Nelson. The older of the Nelson boys, David, appears as David Nelson, and his younger brother, the irrepressible Ricky, played by Ricky Nelson. The Nelsons' next-door neighbor, Thorny, is played by Don DeFore.
What's the matter? Did you speak to your old friends?
I'm sorry, I was a little preoccupied here.
The way you were avoiding me, I thought you might owe me some money.
Now, Thorny, I'll pay you that other 25 as soon as I get it.
Aha, then you were avoiding me.
Why should I avoid you for a measly 25 cents?
25 cents, is that all you owe me?
Well, sure. How much did you think it was?
Well, I didn't think it was anything.
Oh, fine thing.
Say, Oz, how about you and I going out in the town tonight?
What do you mean?
Well, as long as you owe me that 25 cents, I might as well spend it. I can't stand to let all that money burn a hole in my pocket. Let's go to a movie, or maybe we can go bowling. What do you say? There's nothing else to do.
Well, if you're not kidding, Thorny, I would like to do it some other night, but I can't tonight.
What's the matter? Won't Harriet let you out of the house?
Sure, it's not a question of Harriet's not letting me out of the house, but tonight looks like one of my busy nights.
Yeah? How so?
Well, for one thing, David has a composition in English to do, and he usually looks forward to my making a few suggestions.
Well, I'm sure he could get along without your sage observations for one night.
Well, then there's Ricky, too.
Well, sure, he could probably give David some suggestions that would be just as good.
No, what I mean is Ricky needs a little help on his mathematics. He's kind of shaky on his algebra.
What about Harriet?
Well, she's kind of shaky on her addition and subtraction.
I'll bet you could give Ricky a hand.
No, Thorny. Tonight is her night to balance the checkbook with the bank statements. Gee, I'm awfully sorry. I'd love to go out with you, Thorny, but, they're sort of counting on me, so I'd better stay home.
Okay, Oz. You're the kind of a guy who thinks his wife and family are more important than going out and having a great time with his old pal and buddy. Okay.
Thorny, I wouldn't let you down unless this was something really important. And after all, you're like one of the family to us. You know that.
Well, I do, Oz. I do.
Oh, here comes our bus.
Oh, so it is. Yeah, Oz, would you take my arm
What
here?
are you doing?
Never mind, just hold it. What's the big idea? Well, if you're going to be helping the rest of the family tonight, Oz, the least you can do is to help me on the bus.
Hello, Helen. Come on in.
Just on my way home from the hairdresser's, and I thought I'd stop by.
Oh, and your hair looks lovely, too.
Oh, thank you. I struggled with it myself all week and finally decided to give in and go to the hairdresser's.
Well, come on in and sit down. You must be tired after that ordeal.
Well, not especially. In fact, I've just been sitting down and relaxing all afternoon. Oh, that fire looks good.
Does it, though? I just love a fire on a cold day.
So do I. The longer I sat in that beauty parlor, the more I got to feeling sorry for that poor husband of mine.
I don't get the connection. What's the matter with him?
Oh, nothing's wrong. I just couldn't stop thinking about him. There I was getting my hair done, nails manicured. Somebody brought me a sandwich and coffee and practically fed me my lunch. And I suddenly realized what a glorious life we women lead.
Oh, you better be careful. That kind of talk can get us into a lot of trouble.
I really mean it. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. The poor guy comes home from work tired, and before he even gets in the door, I start boring him with all my troubles.
What kind of trouble?
Oh, big important things. Like the difficulty I had picking out a head of lettuce at the market. Or the magazine salesman that sold me a subscription that's good until 1961. I'm telling you, Harriet, that poor husband of mine never gets a minute's rest.
How about Ozzie? Oh, he seems happy to just stay home and relax.
Oh, that's good. What does he do to relax?
Well, usually he helps the boys with their homework. Tonight he's going to help me straighten out my checkbook as usual.
Oh, well, if there's one way to relax, it's by trying to straighten out the family checkbook.
Well, he seems to like it, staying home, helping out.
That's what Hilda Granite thought.
What do you mean?
Well, she insisted her husband, Harry, stay home every night, and he did, for 8 long years. Then one night some girl came to the door selling some new kind of suspenders, and, well, Harry hasn't been home since.
Well, Ozzie always wears a belt.
I hardly think it's that serious. I just think the poor husbands deserve a break. I think every man likes to get out of the house once in a while. Get away from it all. Does him good.
You may be right.
I even bought my husband a box of his favorite cigars. El Corrupto, I think.
They sound pretty strong.
Well, that's the idea. No matter how I feel about it before, just let him start puffing on one of those, and I'm glad to get him out of the house. I have to be running along here.
That you, Ozzie?
No, ma'am, it's us.
Oh, hello, Dave.
Hi, Mom.
I'm glad you got home before your father.
Oh, what's the trouble?
Well, nothing special. I just want to have a little talk with you about him.
I like Pop.
Of course you do. We all do. That's just the point. I think maybe we've been a little too demanding of him.
Oh, in what way, Mom?
Well, we're always asking him to help us with our homework.
Golly, did he used to do yours too, Mom?
He still does. He always gives me a helping hand with the bills and the checkbook.
Well, he never seems to mind.
Golly, no.
That's because he's so good-natured. I'm sure there are plenty of nights when he'd just like to relax or maybe go down to a movie by himself.
Heck, if he doesn't, I sure will.
Don't forget, little man, you have homework to do.
I've already forgotten.
Now, let's just give your father a little rest, shall we?
Sure.
You hear me, David?
Yes, ma'am. What do you want us to do?
Well, let's be especially nice to him when he comes home. And why don't you boys try doing your own homework for a change?
I think that's asking an awful lot, boy.
Well, I'm going to balance the checkbook all by myself.
You think that's fair to Pop?
All right, never mind. Hi, dear.
Oh, hi.
Dinner's almost ready.
Oh, that's good.
Why don't you sit down and relax?
Hi, Pop.
Hi, Pop.
Hi, Dave.
Slippers are over there with you. Papers on the chair, Dave.
Here's your paper, Pop.
Oh, thanks. Pretty good service I'm getting here tonight. Slippers and everything, huh?
Why'd you sit on the sofa, Pop?
Yeah, I guess that would be more comfortable. Well, quite an idea. Thanks a lot, Rick.
You comfortable now, Pop?
Yeah, very nice, thank you.
Sure now.
Yes, sir. Okay, fellas, how about it?
How about what?
Well, how much money do you guys need? Don't tell me there isn't a financial interest involved here.
Oh, of course not, Pop. We don't want any money. Do we, Ricky?
Well, as a matter of fact, I could use
Ricky.
it. Okay. I thought as long as he offered it.
Dinner's ready whenever you are, dear.
Oh, okay, thanks, Harriet.
Hey, right there, Pop.
Well, your mother said dinner's ready, son.
Come on, David.
Whoa, wait a minute. What are you doing?
I guess we're not strong enough anyway.
Strong enough for what?
To carry you into the dining room.
I can make it myself, fellas.
That was a good dinner, Harriet.
Thank you, dear.
Well, I better get going on my English composition.
Oh, I'll be up and help you with that in a little while, Dave.
Oh, no, thanks, Pop. I think I can do it.
Well, you sure now? I'll be glad to give you a hand.
Oh, no, thanks, Pop. Thanks anyway.
You better start your homework, too, Ricky.
Oh, golly, Ma.
Oh, that's algebra, isn't it, son?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll give you a hand on it in a little while.
Oh, that's okay, Pop. I understand it fine now.
Well, you sure? Because I have to help your mother with her bank balance anyway.
Oh, that's okay, Pop.
Oh, I meant to tell you, dear, I think I can handle that myself. I won't have to bother you.
Oh, it's no bother. I'm glad to help you with it.
Well, I have to learn how sooner or later myself. Tonight might be a good time to start. Look, I have an idea. Why don't you take the evening off, all by yourself? Just go to a movie or something.
Gee, it's funny you should mention that because Thorny asked me if I'd like to go bowling with him tonight.
Well, now, that's a wonderful idea.
Well, now, if you
Boys, your father's going out. Get his jacket,
if you
will you?
need me-
Come on, dear. You won't keep Thorny waiting.
Well, there's no hurry.
Well, you might miss getting an alley or
Well-
something. Here's your coat, Pop.
Thank you. Don't tear the lining, son.
Here's your shoes, Pop. Put them on.
Thanks a lot. Now, Harriet, are you sure it's okay if I go out without you?
Oh, absolutely, dear. We want you to. As a matter of fact, we insist on it. You have a good time. Yeah, have a good time,
Thank you.
Pop.
Well,
Have a
thank
good
you,
time,
Pop. Thank you, son. I sure have a very thoughtful family. I do.
In the past, you could numb the pain of tooth decay. Then your dentist could patch the tooth or pull it. But now, a new anti-enzyme toothpaste described in Reader's Digest stops the major cause of tooth decay before it starts. In tests, 9 out of every 10 people proved it. Reader's Digest names Listerine Antizyme toothpaste by name, points out that Antizyme has sodium dehydroacetate, the continuous action anti-enzyme found in no other toothpaste. The Digest article explains how this tasteless, odorless, invisible anti-enzyme is absorbed on tooth surfaces. It stays active 12 hours or more after each brushing, protects against tooth decay every minute, every day. Reader's Digest clearly states that other kinds of toothpaste, although called anti-enzyme, often lose their effect in half an hour or less. Protect your family all the time with new Listerine Antizyme toothpaste. Antizyme toothpaste protects against tooth decay every minute of every day.
Hello?
Hello, Thorny.
Oh, hi, Oz.
Hi, grab your bowling shoes, old boy, and let's go.
Go? Go where?
Well, bowling, of course. I managed to talk Harriet into letting me out tonight. Well, I better get down there early so he can grab a good lane.
Well, gee, I'm afraid I can't go, Oz. I promised Will I'd help him with his homework tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Besides that, Catherine has a couple of things she wants me to do for her. Gee, I'm sure sorry, Oz.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Hey, wait a minute, what happened? I thought you were going to help Ricky with his homework.
Well, yes, I was.
Uh-huh, but you decided to duck out instead.
No, of course not.
Oz, why didn't you go back and help the boy? First-year algebra is tough once you get onto it.
You got this all wrong, Thorny. I offered to help Ricky with his homework, but he turned me down. He said he'd rather do it himself.
Well, I don't blame him. What else is a poor kid going to say with you standing there grumbling about it?
I wasn't grumbling about anything. Look, going out tonight wasn't my idea. Harriet... Well, look, Thorny, I'll meet you out back and tell you all about it.
Okay, now what was the argument all about?
What argument?
The argument you and Harriet had.
Oh, we didn't have any argument, Thorny.
Oh, I get it. She got sorry at you because you wouldn't help Ricky with his homework.
No. Got this whole thing confused.
Look, Oz, why don't you go back in the house and tell Harriet you're sorry that you were such a heel, and she'll forgive you.
In the first place, Harriet doesn't want me around the house tonight.
I know how it is, Oz. All married couples have these little spats. Why don't you just buy her a big box of candy and it'll fix everything?
Didn't have any sort of a spat. I called you to ask you what She didn't kick me out of the house. She isn't mad at me or anything like that. She just wants me to have a night out, that's all.
Oh, so that's it. Gee, Oz, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you.
Oh, that's okay, Thorny.
Gosh, it certainly wasn't trying to start anything between you two.
No, I know you weren't. Well, I'd better get going. Sure you don't want to come along?
Oh, positive. But you have a good time, Oz.
No, don't worry. I will.
And I'll leave our key in the mailbox, and I'll have a couple of extra blankets on the couch for you.
How you coming with a bank balance, Mom?
Oh, not very well, David. I got a $25 deficit here I can't account for. How you doing with your composition?
Oh, kind of slow. I'll probably start doing a little better once I think of something to write about.
Yeah, imagine that'd help.
Does anybody care to ask me how I'm doing on my algebra?
Okay, little man, how are you doing with your algebra?
Well, if I could just get this one problem done, I'll have one problem done.
Looks like we're all having our troubles.
Yeah, I'll see. Yeah, I wish Pop hadn't gone out tonight.
Well, I'm afraid we depend too much on your father. He deserves an occasional night out. We certainly can't let him do all our work for us.
You know what I ought to write about? Wish I could think of an interesting subject.
Hey, why don't you write about me?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I could write a composition or Little Brothers Necessary.
Hey, wait a minute, I found it. I'm not $25 short after all, just added wrong. You know, 5 and 15 is 10, and 10 is... Uh-oh.
How's it work out?
Well, it's just like I said, I'm not $25 short after all. I'm $50 short. Darn it. I wonder what I did wrong.
You let Pop out of the house.
Okay, never mind that stuff, Ricky.
Well, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm afraid Ricky's right.
Shall we call him at the bowling alley, Mom?
Oh, no, I couldn't do that, David.
Heck, what's the number? I'll call him.
No, we gave your father the night out, and we're going to stick to our word.
Yeah, that's right, Mom.
This algebra's pretty tough, boy.
Stop grumbling. You'll get it done.
You're darn right I'll get it done. I'll ask Pop to do it for me tomorrow morning.
Oh, no, you don't, Ricky. Your father's not going to do any of your homework tomorrow morning. He's going to be much too busy.
Doing what?
Straightening out the bank balance.
Ozzie?
Hello, dear. What are you doing up so late?
Oh, I just wasn't sleepy.
Oh. How'd everything go without me?
Oh, just fine.
That's good.
Did you have a good time?
Oh, yeah, I had a fine time.
What'd you do?
Oh, lots of things. Hope you weren't worried. I didn't mean to stay out quite so late.
Oh, no, I wasn't worried. It's only 12:33 1/4.
I meant to get in earlier, but I was enjoying myself so much I hated to break away. Say everything went okay here at home.
Oh, yes, fine. What did you do?
Oh, made the rounds.
Rounds of what?
Well, Harriet, what is this, the third degree? I mean, after all, it was your idea I go out tonight, you know.
Yes, I know, dear. I'm just interested. If it bothers to have me
No,
ask
it
you, I
doesn't
just
bother
won't
to have
you
me ask you.
anymore.
I just didn't know whether you...
I suppose you stopped past the bowling alley. Now, I'm not asking you. I'm just supposing.
Well, yeah, I did stop by there. There was some sort of a tournament going on. I watched them for a while and then moved on. No lanes available.
Oh, it's too bad you didn't get the bowl.
Well, I really didn't care much. I wanted to hit all the spots. After all, this was my night to howl. Did you know the Bijou Theater was closed for repairs? It's going to be closed for 3 weeks.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Same Western pictures playing over the Rialto.
Oh, were you going to a movie?
Well, I thought about it. I'm glad I didn't, though. It's kind of a silly way to spend an evening out. You know, some milk and cookies would go fine right now. Do you have any cookies?
Yes, there's some on the dining room table.
Yeah. You know, you sure pick up some interesting information when you're out on the town like this.
Cookies are on the table. I'll get the milk.
Oh, thanks.
What interesting information?
Well, for instance, did you know they closed the public library at 9 o'clock?
They always have.
Oh. I'll bet you didn't know that Mr. Miller closes his drugstore at 10:30.
No, that's news to me.
And the TV set in the window of Bigelow's furniture store is shut off at 11.
Now, there's some very interesting things to know.
You know, when you're out on the town, you really meet some interesting people. I was talking to a fellow tonight who's a very entertaining guy, a traveling man, and all over the United States.
How'd you meet him?
Oh, you know, we just got to talking. Got some wonderful ideas about life, too. I guess you'd call him sort of a philosopher, the homespun type. Has a very unusual name, too. Mr. Bindlestiff, I think. Yeah. Very nice person. We're having a very interesting discussion until they made us leave.
Who made you leave?
The police. Yeah, do you think it's fair for them to kick citizens out of a public park at midnight?
Wait a minute. Let me just review this exciting evening of yours. You couldn't get into the bowling alley, so you went to the Bijou. The Bijou was closed, so you went to the library until 9 o'clock. Then you went to the drugstore until 10:30. You watched television until 11 and sat in the park until 12. Is that what you call making the round?
Yes, and it sounds pretty square, doesn't it?
Well, it certainly isn't what I'd call a highly entertaining evening.
Well, it was, and I had a terrible time. Now, tell me, Harriet, what did I do wrong?
Well, if what you've told me is true, absolutely nothing.
I mean, why are you mad at me?
Well, I'm not mad at you.
Well, then why did you kick me out of the house?
Well, I just thought you'd like to have an evening out.
Oh, you mean you weren't sore at me about anything?
Well, of course not. I just thought you'd like to spend an evening out with the boys.
Well, what boys? I mean, all the other men are home with their families where they belong.
Well, believe me, dear, we'd have been much happier if you'd stayed at home with us. Boys and I didn't do as well as you think we did. As a matter of fact, we needed your help desperately.
Oh, Harriet, it's nice of you to say that, but I'm sure it didn't make that much difference. After all, there comes a time in a man's life when his family is able to function without him. I'm glad you and the boys aren't so dependent on me anymore. That's the way it should be. Not that I mind helping you.
Ozzie, may I say something?
Well, sure, go ahead.
Well, I almost hate to tell you this, but Ricky couldn't do any of his algebra problems, so that means he'll get a failing mark tomorrow. And David got just about one paragraph of his English composition done. And I've made a complete mess out of the bank balance. Comes out different every time I add it up. Honestly, I never saw so many 9s and 7s in all my life. I ran out of fingers.
Now, wait a minute. You mean to say just because I step out of the house the one night, the boys are going to fail in school and you've got the checkbook messed up?
Yeah, that's right.
This is terrible.
I know it.
Look, tell me one thing.
Yes, dear?
Are you sure you aren't saying this just to make me happy?
Is that you, dear? coming to bed?
Well, yeah, I had a little work to do, don't you remember? I had 12 algebra problems to solve, an English composition to write, and a checkbook to balance.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Would you mind turning out the light? It's shining right in my eyes.
Can't you sleep with the light on?
Well, I guess so, but that doesn't make any sense. Probably spend the night dreaming. Dreaming of my wild adventures tonight, out on the town.
It's exactly what I had in mind. You go to sleep and dream, dear, and I'll watch you. You start smiling, I'm going to hit you over the head with a lamp.
Sometimes you learn the most from words you aren't supposed to hear. Poor Marge. She'll never hold a man until she does something about her breath. Until she does something about her breath. Does something about her breath.
Research shows that there is a direct connection between germs in your mouth and unpleasant breath. Listerine antiseptic, the most widely used antiseptic in the world, kills germs instantly. Kills them by the millions.
Listerine's germ-killing action works in 3 places. Stops bad breath where it's most apt to start. Your teeth, your mouth, your throat. In actual scientific tests, Listerine antiseptic stopped bad breath 4 times better than toothpaste, 4 times better than chlorophyll. So every morning, every night, before every date, gargle with Listerine antiseptic. It kills germs instantly by millions. Make Listerine antiseptic a friend of yours for keeps.
Hi, Oz.
Hi, Barney.
Boy, you sure had the right idea last night. I wish I'd gone bowling, too.
Well, what's the matter?
Well, as you know, instead of going bowling, I very generously offered to help my boy Will with his homework.
Yeah?
Well, I did more than help him with it. He looked kind of tired, so I told him to go off to bed, and I did it all for him. And it was that algebra, too. That's pretty tough stuff.
Oh, I know it is. Well, I think that was darn nice of you.
Well, I think so, too, Oz. But do you think Will appreciates it? Not in the least. Came home from school today and didn't even say thank you. Hardly even got a hello out of him.
Maybe he just had something on his mind.
Ah, no, Oz. It's just plain thoughtlessness, that's all. Get no appreciation when you try to be a good father.
Oh, I wouldn't be too hard on the boy, Thorny.
Well, I'm not. But since that's all the gratitude he's going to show me, I'm glad I didn't get any of the problems right.
She said that he had halitosis. She said that he said it's true of some girls too. He said that she said the answer was simple. Here's what she said to do. Try Listerine, buy Listerine. Keep breath fresh and clean with Listerine.
Next week, The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, starring the entire Nelson family, Ozzie, Harriet, David, and Ricky, will be brought to you by Hot Point Quality Appliances. Remember, look to Hot Point for the finest first. Don't forget that a completely different episode of The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet is heard every Friday night on radio. Consult your newspaper for time and radio station.